I never thought I'd bury my own reflection. But there I was, staring into Eliza'S eyes, my eyes now, while her screams echoed in the sterile hum of that black site lab, her real body convulsing on the table as the swap locked in. And, in that moment, as the general's daughter gasped her last breath in my stolen skin, I whispered the first lie of my revenge. It's done.
Sir.
She's safe. The orphanage in rural Illinois had been our cage. A gray brick monster squatting on the edge of cornfields that stretched like forgotten promises under endless prairie skies. Back then, in the late 90s, we were just two girls with nothing but each other, me, Autumn Hayes. 8 years old and all sharp elbows and scraped knees from climbing the rusted fire escapes. Her, Eliza Warwick. The same age, but with that porcelain fragility that made the nuns coo and the older kids back off. We weren't blood, but we might as well have been. I'd steal extra bread rolls from the cafeteria line, toughing out the switch swats, just to see her smile, that rare, cracked thing like sunlight-piercing storm clouds. You're my shield, she'd say, braiding wildflowers into my hair while we hid in the boiler room, dreaming of the day we'd bust out and hit the open road in a cherry-red Mustang, windows down, wind tasting like freedom. Eliza was the dreamer. I was the doer. She spun tales of movie star lives, of mansions in the Hollywood Hills where we'd sip sodas on velvet couches and laugh at the world that chewed us up. I'd nod, sketching escape routes on napkins with stolen pencils, plotting how we'd hitchhike to Chicago, maybe snag jobs waitressing in those neon-lit diners where the jukebox played Springsteen on loop. But deep down, I knew the truth. The system didn't let kids like us go easy. Our files were thick with red stamps, abandoned, no kin, potential delinquents. Eliza'S had an extra layer of mystery, whispers among the staff about a high-profile search, sealed records that made her eyes go distant when anyone pried. Mine? Just the basics. Parents OD'd in a Gary trailer park when I was 3. Bounced around foster hell until the orphanage claimed me for good. We were survivors, forged in the same fire. But Eliza always carried this shadow, like she was waiting for something or someone to drag her back into the light. By 16, we'd clawed our way to semi-respectability. I worked weekends at a local auto shop, greasing engines under the watchful eye of old man Harlan, who paid in cash and crappy advice about keeping your head down. Girl. Eliza tutored the younger kids, her voice soft as gospel, turning fractions into fairy tales. We saved every dime in a Folgers can buried under the willow tree. Our ticket out. Graduation loomed like a guillotine, me eyeing community college on a mechanics scholarship, her talking Ivy League dreams that sounded like fairy dust. Then, one drizzly October afternoon in 2008, everything shattered. I was elbow-deep in a Ford's transmission when the black SUVs rolled up to the shop like thunderheads. Harlan wiped his rag and muttered, "Feds," but I knew better. The plate screamed military. Those matte government tags that didn't reflect light. Out stepped a man carved from granite, tall, broad-shouldered, silver at the temples, uniform crisp as a fresh dollar bill. Brigadier General Harlan Warwick, though I didn't know his name yet, his eyes scanning the lot like he was calling in an airstrike. "Looking for Autumn Hayes," he barked, voice like gravel under tank treads. My stomach dropped. Cops? Debt collectors for some old foster beef? But no. He zeroed in on me, that piercing gaze softening just a fraction. "Miss Hayes." A word. We stepped into the office, the air thick with oil and stale coffee. He introduced himself, flashed credentials that gleamed under the fluorescent buzz, Pentagon seal. Ribbons for God knows what wars and deserts I'd only seen on CNN. Turns out, he'd been tracking Eliza for years. DNA hits from a national database, cross-referenced with orphanage logs. Her mother, his wife, had died in childbirth. A classified op gone south in '91. Babies snatched in the chaos. He'd clawed through red tape, black budgets, pulling strings from D.C. to Langley, convinced his daughter was out there, lost in the system. But here's the hook that snagged us all. The general thought Eliza was me. Some clerical fuck-up in the records swapped names at intake. My photo aged up to match her description. I'd seen the file once. Sneaking a peek in the admin office. Subject: female. Caucasian. DOB October 15th, 90. Name: Eliza Warwick. Alias: Autumn Hayes. A ghost in the machine. Born from wartime paranoia and sloppy bureaucracy. He sat there, this titan of American might, spilling his soul about lost years, regret like acid in his voice. I never stopped looking. She's my blood. My redemption. I could have corrected him right then, told him the truth. Watched his empire tilt. But Eliza. God. Eliza. She'd overheard from the back lot, her face pale as milkweed. That night, under the willow, she begged me. Don't tell him. AUT. Let me be her. Just for a while. We can split the money, the life. You deserve this too. It was betrayal's first whisper. Sweet as poison honey. I agreed. Because what else was I? The grease monkey. The nobody. So I became Eliza Warwick, stepping into her skin like a hand-me-down coat that fit too perfect. The general, Dad, now, whisked us to D.C., a penthouse overlooking the Potomac. Maids and drivers and private schools that smelled like old money and older lies. Eliza? She vanished into the shadows. Adopted out on paper, but really tucked into a trust fund condo in Alexandria. Close enough to visit, but far from the spotlight. We played the game, me acing AP history, charming at galas where senators slapped backs and eyed me like fresh meat. Her. My cousin Autumn, the quirky artist tagging along, sketching in corners while I shone. The cracks showed fast. General Warwick was no doting father. He was a machine, grinding through briefings and ops, molding me into his legacy. Warwicks don't bend. Eliza, he'd say over steak dinners, his hand heavy on my shoulder. We break the world before it breaks us. Eliza chafed at the edges, jealous flares when he'd praise my poise. Her sketches turning darker, thorns twisting through roses. But the real poison seeped in during my senior year, 2012, when the General's special project surfaced. Black budget neuroscience. Whispers of DARPA wet dreams, neural mapping, consciousness transfer. For the troops, he'd boast, eyes gleaming. Imagine a soldier's mind in a drone body, immortal warriors. Bullshit. It was control. Pure and simple, uploading brass to outlast their meat. Sidestepping mortality for the stars and stripes. Eliza got wind through my careless slips, overheard calls, glimpsed classified emails on his desk. She came to me one night, wild-eyed, pounding on my door at 2 a.m. He's a monster. IUT. It's not just drones. It's people. Erasing them. Turns out, she'd hacked his study kid stuff. Really? A borrowed library card and some phishing charm on his aid. Files on Project Echo. Test subjects. Mostly vets with TBI. Their minds wiped and rebooted like faulty hard drives. Dozens gone. Chalked up to training accidents. And the endgame? High command immortality. Generals like him jumping bodies like suits, ruling from shadows eternal. I laughed it off at first, conspiracy fever. I said, pouring her chamomile to calm the shakes. But doubt gnawed. I'd seen the silo in Virginia, the one he helicoptered me to for career day, guards tighter than Fort Knox. Hum of servers like a hive mind waking. Eliza wouldn't let it die. We have to expose him, she pleaded, her grip bruising my arm. You're now his precious daughter. You can get close. Me? I froze. The life he'd given. Yachts on the bay. Internships at think tanks. A future paved in gold. Betray him, and it all crumbled. It's bigger than us, I whispered. But she saw the fear. The complicity. That's when the swap hit. Not magic. Not sci-fi glow, cold. Clinical. A cocktail of nanites and EM fields cooked up in that lab. Eliza dosed me during a girls' weekend in the condo, spiking my wine with something odorless. Ruthless. I woke strapped to the table. Her face hovering my face. Soon. Masked techs murmuring protocols. For the greater good, she said. Voice steel. You'll thank me when it's over. The general's blessing? Implicit. He'd greenlit the trials. Handpicked her as volunteer coordinator to keep the family involved. But this? Personal. She'd use my body, innocent Autumn. The nobody, to infiltrate, gather proof. Blow the lid while I, in hers, played the loyal daughter, the shield for his sins. The machine word, fire lancing through synapses, and then nothing. I blinked into her eyes. Her hands, my hands now, flexing on the restraints. Eliza, in my skin, grinned through the haze. Feels right, doesn't it? Like coming home. She was gone before the sedatives wore off, slipping into the night with a drive of encrypted files. My fingerprints her key to the kingdom. Me? I stumbled out as Eliza, the general's pride, burying the scream in my throat. Betrayal. Deep as marrow, she'd stolen my life to save the world. Or so she told herself. But I knew better. The greed in her eyes. The thrill of power. And the crime I'd bear? The first test subject, a Marine named Reyes, flatlined that night. Cover, subject error, Hayes Protocol. My name. My fault. Etched in black ink. Revenge brewed slow. A pot on low boil. I played the part, poised Eliza at West Point Prep, charming brass at Quantico mixers, all while mapping the web. The general doted, blind to the stranger in his daughter's skin, confiding ops over bourbon, cartel hits in Juarez, drone strikes in Yemen, Echoes Phase 2, uploading him first, a legacy vessel, prepped in cryo. Eliza, meanwhile, went dark. No calls. No sketches. Just rumors. A whistleblower ghost. Leaks hitting WikiLeaks. Anonymous drops to congressional watchdogs. My body. Her weapon. Dodging feds in dive bars from Baltimore to Baton Rouge. But I was patient. American as apple pie and a .45 methodical. Mean. First move. Befriend the inner circle. Captain Lena Voss, the general's aide, sharp as a K-bar, nursing her own ghosts from Fallujah. Over late-night chess in the war room, I probed, casual, like girl talk. Dad's so secretive. Echo. It's just uploads. Right? Her pause said volumes. Phase 3. Hybrids. Minds spliced. Loyalties rewritten. Boss cracked after 3 months, smuggling me schematics on a thumb drive hidden in a lipstick tube. For Eliza, she lied to herself. For me, controversy simmered. My decisions? Gray as DC. Fog. I greenlit a trial, fed Voss bad chords, let a splice go live on a low-rung colonel who ended up catatonic, drooling in Bethesda. Mercy kill?
Or justice.
The press sniffed blood. Military mind meld malfunction, cover-up? Protests outside the Pentagon. Vets in wheelchairs chanting, "No more ghosts." The general raged, pounding his desk. Eliza, you're with me on this. Family first. I nodded, eyes down. While inside, I tallied bodies, Reyes, the colonel, faceless others. Was I avenging? Or becoming him? Eliza resurfaced in fragments, a blurry photo in the intercept. My old face hooded at a rally. Placard reading "Echo kills souls." She was close, too close. I traced her to a flop in Anacostia, roaches and regret, where she holed up with a hacker kid named Jax, piecing leaks into a manifesto. I could have ended it there, slipped VX from the lab, watched her gasp in my skin.
But no.
Controversy demanded spectacle. Instead, I fed her allure, falsified Phase 4 docs, promising the kill switch, the proof to torch it all. She bit, meeting me in that cornfield silo under thunder. 2015 now. The air electric with betrayals charge. We faced off in the access tunnel, fluorescent flicker casting long shadows. She in my body, leaner, harder. Tattoos I'd never gotten snaking her arm, wielded a flash drive like Excalibur. It's over, Eliza. The world's gonna see. I smiled, her smile, stepping close. You stole my life for this? For headlines? The fight was ugly, nails, elbows, whispers of sister, like curses. I pinned her, syringe from my pocket, the reversal serum, black market from a rogue echo tech. You think you're the hero? He knew. Eliza. About the swap. Sanctioned it. To test loyalty.
Lie?
Half-truth. The general had suspected anomalies, EEG spikes, psych evals flagging imposter syndrome, but he'd buried it, loving the new daughter who didn't flinch at briefings. The needle plunged, fire reversing through veins. Her eyes, my eyes, widened as souls tugged back. Agony. Exquisite. She thrashed, screaming, "You bitch, it's for us." But the machine was one way for a reason, her mind frayed, synapses frying like overclock circuits. I held her, as she stilled, body slumping limp. Dead in my skin, the nobody's shell. I dragged her to the core chamber, staged it, suicide attempt gone wrong, neural overload. The general bought it, grief hollowing his eyes at the funeral, Arlington Green under salute. "My girl," he choked, pinning stars on her casket. Stars-eyed were next. But revenge's arc bent darker. With Eliza gone, I dove deeper, Voss's ally. Jax coerced, with threats of rendition. We hacked the uploads, terabytes of spliced horrors. Brass minds puppeteering grunts. Orders for wet work on whistleblowers. I leaked selectively, enough to crater stocks, summon hearings, but not the kill shot. Controversy peaked. Fox called me Patriot Princess, MSNBC, Daddy's dark secret. Protests turned riots. Capitol Hill a circus of subpoenas. My decision? The ugliest, sleep with the enemy. Senator Hale, oversight chair. Silver fox with ambitions, bedded me in his Georgetown townhouse. Pillow talk yielding classified codes. Was it seduction or survival? Power's currency. Baby, cold as a chambered round. Climax crashed in the oval shadow. 2016 election fever pitching the nation like a storm-tossed ship. The general, eyeing Joint Chiefs, pushed Echo full throttle. Me as poster child. Eliza Warwick, future of defense. The gala at the Hay Adams, crystal chandeliers. Power brokers in tuxes. Me in red silk that hugged like a noose. Voss slipped me the kill switch, a worm. Viral. To brick the neural net mid-upload. He took the stage. Arm around me. Toasting immortal America. My hand trembled on the detonator app. Hidden in my clutch.
Pull now.
End it. Expose all. Drag him to Leavenworth in chains. Or wait, let him jump. Haunt his own ghost. Then fry from inside. Twist came like lightning, mid-speech. His eyes locked mine, recognition.
Raw.
Autumn, he mouthed. Voice booming public lies. He'd known all along. The swap. The bodies. Eliza'S ploy, he'd orchestrated the reversal months back. Testing my mettle. Blood or not. Your work now. Prove it. Betrayal inverted. Not victim. But heir. He'd borne my sins, framed me for Reyes to bind me. Buried Eliza to free me. The crime? His wife's death. Not op chaos. But Echo prototype gone live. Her mind erased in a test he greenlit. I'd gambled his guilt. But he turned it, made me the monster. Complicit in her erasure for his redemption. I pulled the trigger. Worms ate the net live on feed. Uploads glitching worldwide. Generals twitching in chairs. Drones plummeting in feeds hacked to porn. Chaos screams. Evac. The general clutching his chest as feedback looped his brain. Why, he gasped. Foam flecking lips. For her, I lied. Holding his hand. Father's. Finally. He died smiling. Secrets dying with him.
Me?
I vanished into the night. Jax's jet to Vancouver. New face from a discreet clinic. Happy? Tragic? Justice is a mirror. Cracked and cruel, reflects what you bring. The cornfields call still. Whispers in the wind. Was I avenger or architect? Eliza'S ghost laughs. I think. Or maybe it's just the rustle of leaves. America's endless, unforgiving song. The flight to Vancouver was a blur of recycled air and regret. The Gulf Streams hum a lullaby for the damned. Jax piloted. That lanky hacker kid with his man bun and ironic Che t-shirt. Glancing back like I might sprout fangs. You good, Eliza? Or whatever. I stared out at the Rockies clawing the dawn. Peaks like broken teeth. And felt the weight of her name settle wrong. Autumn now. Again. Passports forged in the dark web's fire. A fresh SIN number stamped on vinyl. But skins shed slow. I caught my reflection in the window. Eliza'S cheekbones still sharp under the dye job. Her widow's peak mocking me. Call me Red, I muttered. Like the witch in the woods. He chuckled. Nervous. Popping altitude pills like candy. Smart kid, knew enough to run. Not ask. Canada was a soft landing. All polite Mounties and Tim Hortons fogging the chill. We holed up in a cabin off the Fraser Valley. Log walls creaking under evergreens heavy with mist. The kind of place serial killers romanticize in bad novels. Jack set up shop in the basement, servers whirring like angry bees. Firewalls thicker than paranoia. Your inheritance, he quipped, handing me a laptop etched with Eliza'S initials. Ironic as hell. Inside, the Echo remnants, blueprints, victim logs, the General's private vids of splices gone wrong, faces melting into static screams. I'd leaked the Big Bang from DC. But this? The autopsy. Dozens of names, vets and volunteers, minds minced for metrics. Reyes, the first, my frame-up, stared from a photo, buzz cut and boyish grin. Last words, tell my girls I'm coming home. Guilt hit like black ice, skidding me into nightmares. I'd wake sweating. Her voice, mine, whispering, "You let it happen." Controversial calls echoed. That colonel, catatonic on my watch. Mercy? I'd dosed his four with Pento, smooth as a lullaby, while Voss looked away. For the greater good, I'd justified, echoing the General's creed. But whose good?
Mine.
Patting the throne.
Now.
Exiled. I sifted files for absolution, tracing threads to the roots. The General's wife, Margaret, code name Echo Zero, hadn't died in 91 op fog. She'd volunteered. First human trial. Neural bridge to command a squad remotely. Backlash fried her. Phantom pains. Dissociative breaks. Suicide staged as enemy fire. He'd covered it. Promoted on the lie. Birthing a monster from her grave. Jax caught me once. Mid-breakdown. Torching printouts in the wood stove. This shit's viral gold. Why burn it? Because truth's a blade. Kid cuts both ways. I couldn't torch the Empire without scorching innocence. Families of brass. Pawns in the game. Kids like us once. Instead, I doled leaks surgically, anonymous drops to podcasters, Reddit deep dives, feeding the beast without feeding the fire. The fallout rippled south, congressional probes stalled by NDAs. Class actions from victim kin stacking like cordwood. Fox spun deep state sabotage. MSNBC, military Frankenstein.
Me?
A ghost in the gallery. Read The Recluse. Nursing Rye by the fire while the world debated my sins. Betrayals echo lingered. Though, Eliza'S.
Mine.
His. I'd grown up shielding her. Taking swats for her sasses. Sneaking her smokes past curfew. In the orphanage, we'd pinky swore eternity, sisters against the storm. But power twists pinkies to knives. She'd swapped us not just for justice, but jealousy, my grit. The General's favor. I'd seen it in stolen glances. Her sketches of me as Eliza. Regal and remote. And me? I'd worn her skin like armor. But it chafed, revealing scales beneath. The General's test, knowing the swap, letting it ride, had forged me in his image. Cunning.
Cold.
Complicit. His dying smile?
Pride.
Not pain. Warwick blood, he'd rasped.
Bullshit.
I'd earned it in blood and bites. But at what cost? Decisions piled, each grayer than the last. Jax pushed for the big play. Auction the crown jewels to journos. Cash out for a beach in Belize. You're the Avenger.
Red.
Finish it. Tempting, sun-soaked anonymity. My ties masking the shakes. But controversy called. That American itch for spectacle. Instead, I reached out to Voss. Encrypted line from a Vancouver cafe. Steam from my double-double fogging the screen. She'd gone rogue post-gala. Dodging IA in a Reno motel. Nursing a bum knee from the evac scrum. Eliza, Autumn, whatever. You alive? Her voice cracked. Whiskey rough. The brass is circling. Hale's lawyered up, singing to save his ass. Hale, the senator, my pillow puppet. I'd betted him for codes. But he'd flipped, bartering my leaks for immunity. Traitor twice over. We plotted in shadows. Voss the blade. Me the brain. Jax the bites. Target, the Echo Vault. Buried under a New Mexico test range. Terabytes of raw mines. Backups for the elite. Infiltrate. Wipe it clean. Salt the earth. Risk? Lethal, guards with shoot to kill. Drones with facial wreck.
But the pole. God. The pole.
Controversial? Hell yes. Erasing evidence meant burying victims' last cries. Denying kin closure. Is it revenge or erasure? Voss asked over Satlink. Her face gaunt in pixel glow. Both, I said. That's the American way. The heist unfolded like a Coen brothers fever dream. Dust devils swirling the Chihuahuan as we rolled up in a stolen F-150. Plates swapped thrice. Jax jammed the perimeter cams with a Raspberry Pi rig. Fireworks in code spelling do not pass. Voss and I ghosted the fence. Bolt cutters whispering. Her knee popping like gunfire in the hush. Inside. The vault hummed subterranean. Concrete veins pulsing coolant. We cracked it with Hale's overrides, my parting gift. Whispered post-coital, and there it was, racks of quantum drives. Glowing like Pandora's jars. Souls in silicon. But Twist 2 slithered in, alarm silent. But shadows moved. Not guards, ghosts. Splices. Failed uploads wandering the halls. Eyes milky. Murmuring ops long dead. Delta inbound. Tango down. One lunged. A vet's husk in fatigues. Hands clawing for Voss's throat. She fired, suppressed 9 millimeters. Cough of finality. Body crumpling wet. Fuck, she hissed. Blood flecking her boots. My turn. The worm deployed. Jax's virus-eating data like acid rain. But as sectors blinked, a file pinged, locked. The general's personal. For EW legacy. I cracked it. Heart hammering. Not horrors, home movies. Him and Margaret. Young. Laughing on a Carolina porch. Her belly round with Eliza. Then darker, post-trial logs. Her begging. Harlan. It's me, stop the bridge.
His voice.
Clinical. Necessary losses.
Mags.
For the girl. He'd known. Sacrificed her mind to fund the search. Twisted love into lab rat. And Eliza? Conceived in hope. Born in hubris. The betrayal looped. He'd used us all. Daughters as data points. Swaps as simulations for his immortality play. Voss yanked my arm. Time's up, but I lingered. Downloading the truth. Drone's word, overhead. Spotlights carving the night. We bolted. F-150 roaring dust. Jax whooping from the shadows. Back north. Cabin sanctuary. I played the vid for them, faces around the kitchen table. Rye bottles sweating. He was the monster, Voss said, voice breaking. We all were. Jax nodded. Eyes wide. Me? I burned the drive. Flames dancing like Margaret's ghost. Revenge tasted ash. But closure? Fleeting as Canadian summer. Yet the debate raged internal. Had I avenged Eliza? Or erased her agency? She'd chosen the swap. Lit the fuse. My hands, hers, still itched for more. Leaks resumed. Piecemeal. Feeding the fire without fanfare. Protests swelled. A vet's march on D.C. Chanting "Echo no more," kin of the lost filing suits that stuck. Hail, disgraced. Golfing in disgrace. Voss vanished to Seattle, starting a pod on military ethics. Jax stayed. My shadow coder. Flirting with danger and double espressos. Months blurred. Leaves turning gold on the Fraser. I took up sketching, badly. Roses without thorns. Fields without silos. But nights brought the hook. That first lie in the lab. She's safe.
Was I?
Autumn reclaimed, but fractured. A mosaic of skins. The world moved on. Trump towers rising. Headlines chasing new devils, but Echo's scar lingered. A whisper in the wires. Happy ending? For some.
Me?
I'd settle for the road. Mustang dreams deferred, but not dead. Controversy's gift. Questions that keep you breathing. One dawn. Coffee black as resolve. I eyed the highway south. Time to face the cornfields. Bury the Folgers can proper. Sisters against the storm. Eternal. Even in ashes. The drive south hit like a hangover. I-5 bleeding into I-90. Endless ribbon of asphalt unspooling under tires that hummed recriminations. Red, Maggie now. Fresh alias from Jax's printer. Evoking the wife I'd never met, gripped the wheel of a U-Civic. Anonymous gray blending with the herd. No Mustang. Not yet. Too flashy for ghosts. Podcasts crackled on the dash. NPR dissecting Echo's legacy. Experts debating if it was innovation or atrocity. Voices overlapping like jury murmurs. A necessary evolution in asymmetric warfare, one suit intoned. Or hubris wrapped in stars and stripes, countered a vet's widow. Her drawl thick with grief. I switched to Springsteen. Born to run, letting the sax wail drown the what-ifs. Crossing the border at Blaine felt like shedding skin, customs agents scanning my smile. Dogs sniffing for sins. Business, the Mountie asked.
Eyes bored. Art supply run? I lied.
Trunk stocked with canvases as cover. He waved me through, oblivious to the laptop humming horrors beneath. Back in the States, the air shifted thicker. Charged, like stepping into a bar fight mid-swing. Billboards hawked Trump 16, Make America Great, while hitchhikers thumbed rides with haunted eyes. I veered east at Spokane, threading the Idaho panhandle, mountains giving way to plains that tugged at memory. The orphanage loomed in dreams, but waking, it was the silo that called that Virginia beast, now mothballed, guards thinned post-scandal. Why return? Closure's a liar. Promising peace but delivering punches. Eliza'S ghost demanded it, her sketches. I'd found a stash in the condo after the gala. Fields rendered in charcoal fury. Silos spearing skies like accusations. Finish what I started, her note read. Scrawled on the back of a napkin blueprint. I'd torched most, but one survived. Cornstalks parting for a girl with my face. Running toward light. Controversial urge. Confront the cradle of betrayal. Not with bombs, but boots on ground. Jax stayed north. Server safe. Voss radioed from Seattle. Don't be a martyr, kid. But martyrs make headlines. And I craved quiet thunder. The Midwest swallowed me whole by Billings. Motels with neon buzz and beds that sagged like regrets. I holed up in one outside Des Moines. Room 7 at the Starlight. Walls thin as alibis. Listening to truckers cough through partitions. There, unpacking the laptop, I dove deeper, cross-referencing Echo victims with orphanage roles. Twist 3 uncoiled slow, not random. The subjects. Margaret's breakdown? Triggered a purge, kids from her exposure, potentials for neural graphs. Scooped young for special programs. Eliza and me? Flagged at intake. DNA pings to Warwick bloodline. I'd borne the mistake, framed for Rhea's not by error, but design, testing if the spare could stomach the machine. Nausea hit. Coffee curdling. The general hadn't just searched, he'd seeded, fostering potentials in shadows. Orphanage a petri dish for his redemption. Eliza'S mystery file? Sealed for protection or predation. We'd been lab rats in pigtails. Pinky swears masking monitors. Betrayal layered like sedimentary sin. He knew us both. Chose me as air for my grit. Her as catalyst for my fire. Warwick's adapt, he'd say. Adaptation's code for monsters wearing men's suits. Road fever built resolve. I detoured to Gary, Indiana, my ghost town. Trailer parks rusting under steel mill ghosts. The overdose site? A chain link scar. Weeds choking foundations. I stood there, wind off Lake Michigan whipping grit, and whispered to shadows, "You left me to this." Parent specters, junkies chasing highs. But who'd chase them? Echo precursors. Black budget beta tests on civilians. Minds frayed for data. A local yarn spinner. Old black woman at the corner store. Spun it over lotto tickets. Back in '87. Suits came sniffin'. Payin' for volunteers. Folks woke up. Different. Her eyes said enough, hollow. Like Voss's post-Fallujah stare. South to Illinois. Corn whispering secrets. The orphanage stood shuttered. Chain link and condemnation signs. Windows boarded like blind eyes. I slipped the fence at dusk. Twilight bleeding purple. Climbing the fire escape with muscle memory. The boiler room, our sanctum, still smelled of rust and damp dreams. Graffiti fresh from vandals. Fuck the system. I traced our carvings, E+ a forever, fingertip ghosts. Up on the roof. City lights smudged the horizon. Chicago's glow a false promise. There. Decision loomed. Torch the place? Symbolic pyre for stolen childhoods. But fire's too final. I left it standing. A monument to what endures. The silo waited. 2 days' drive east. Virginia's rolling hills hiding horrors. I rolled up at midnight. Civic ditching on a access road. Backpack heavy with tools. Bolt cutters.
Yummer.
That lipstick drive now relic loaded. Guards patrolled lazy. Post-scandal cuts. Budgets bled dry. I ghosted the perimeter. Heart-thumping bass line. Scaling the chain link with gloves gripping cold metal. Inside. The hum lingered. Fainter. Like a dying god's breath. Tunnels echoed my steps. Fluorescent ghosts flickering welcome. Deeper. The lab, sterile tomb. Tables scarred from straps. Monitors dark but dreaming. I found the chamber. The swap machine. Hulking MRI beast. Coils cold. Console blinking standby. Fingertips danced keys. Pulling logs, our session. Vitals spiking like accusations. Subject A, stable. Subject E, anomalous rejection. Anomalous? She'd fried partial. Mind shards lingering in my nerves. Whispers in quiet moments. Run. Gooseflesh. I jacked the drive. Downloading residuals, neural echoes. Voices of the lost. Alarms wailed sudden, motion sensor. My boot on a pressure plate. Intruder. Sector 3. Boots thundered. M4S ratcheting. I bolted. Tunnels labyrinth. Voss's voice in my earbud. Abort. Damn it. But momentum's a drug. Cornered in the core. 3 MPs. Faces young and scared under helmets. Down. Ma'am, lead barked. My hands up. But mind raced. Surrender.
Or swing.
Controversy incarnate. I lunged. Pepper spray. From the pack hissing. 2 dropping choking. The 3rd fired. Grazed my shoulder. Fire bloom, but I tackled. Knee to groin. Wrenching his sidearm. Escape blurred. Shots pinging concrete. Me weaving shadows. Backpack clutched like lifeline. Outside. Night air sweet. Civic roaring gravel. Blood soaked my sleeve. But free, highway queen. Springsteen blasting escape. Hospital in Roanoke. Our doc stitching under alias. No questions for cash. Bad date, he joked. Worst, I grinned through grit teeth. Back on the road. Dawn breaking bloody. The drive's ghosts unspooled. Margaret's logs. Pleading, Rhea's last call home. Love you. Bugs. I leaked it all. Midnight upload to secure drops. Timed for morning news. Headlines exploded by Omaha. Echo origins. Pentagon's baby factory. Protests reignited. Vets storming gates. Kin of Fosters marching with placards. Our kids. Their code. Controversy crested. Debates on C-SPAN. Ethicists wailing. Eugenics 2.0. Brass denying till blue.
Me?
Maggie the Drifter. Nursing wounds in a Sioux Falls diner. Pie cooling untouched. But the hook twisted inward. Was this vengeance or vendetta? Eliza'S dream. Expose. Dismantle realized. But at what fracture? My shoulder throbbed reminder. Violence begets. Cycle spins. Jack's pinged. You're viral.
Red.
Ghosts love you. Love or haunt. Voss called. Come west. We build something real. Tempting alliance. Not alone. The plains flattened. Illinois nearing. Willow tree waited. Folgers can bury deep. Digging at dusk. Earth cool and yielding. I unearthed it. Dime heavy. Dreams deflated. Inside. A note from her. If I go first, take the road. Love.
E.
Tears hit. Salt on soil. I buried it back. Richer now with truth. Not happy. Not tragic, just human. Flawed as the heartland. Southward still. The storm brewing. America's pulse quickened. Elections. Echoes. I was part now. Unwilling thread in the weave. Revenge?
Done.
Reckoning? Eternal. The election night found me in a dive off Route 66. Somewhere in Missouri's Boothiel. TV bolted above the bar flickering like a bad acid trip. Trump loomed on screens. Hair like a pissed-off hedgehog. Crowing victory, while Hillary's concession hung unspoken. Patrons, truckers with callous paws. Farmers with eyes like cracked earth, hoisted buds in half-hearted toasts. Murmurs of about time mingling with end of days. I nursed a whiskey neat. Ice melting slow. Shoulder bandage itching under flannel. Maggie the Nomad. Blending with the wood-paneled gloom. But inside. Circuits fried. Echo's leaks had tipped the scales, anti-deep state fever. Brass scapegoated in stump speeches. My doing. Indirect as a ricochet. Bartender. A grizzled vet with a Purple Heart tattoo peeking from sleeve. Slid me a refill. You look like you've seen a ghost. Darling. I smirked. Raising glass. Ain't one ghost, Legion. He nodded,
knowing, pouring for the house on his tab.
Stories spilled then. Barstool Confessional, his tour in Nam. Agent Orange Ghosts, my dodge with family biz. Lies lace truth. But the whiskey loosened knots. Power eats its young, he said,
clinking.
Chew slow. Advice stuck. Bitter as backwash. Dawn drove me east. Election hangover national. Billboard screaming build the wall like feudal prayers. The general's shadows stretched long, his ilk, the old guard, scrambling in bunkers, plotting comebacks. I'd glimpsed it in residuals, contingency uploads, mines bunkered in bunkers off-grid, waiting for the swing. Controversial calculus. Hunt them down? Or let democracies meet grinder do the work? I chose road. For now, detours to victim kin. Quiet handoffs of drives in park benches. Faces crumpling thanks. Reyes widow in Philly. Kids grown but gap-toothed photos on fridge. Margaret's sister in Raleigh. Silver-haired fury vowing suits. For Mags, she'd hugged.
Fierce.
And whoever you lost layered. Eliza'S echo loudest. Her sketches haunted the Civic's glove box. Roses thorny now in memory. Betrayals prism. She'd stolen my skin for salvation. But salvation selfish, her heroism my hell. I'd repaid in kind, frying her mid-reversal, staging suicide to shield the swap stain. Mercy or matricide? Slaying the sister self? Debates dog diners. Mental loops. What if I'd confessed to the general day one? Butterfly wings. Hurricanes unborn. But hindsight's a luxury for the living. I lived. She didn't. Balance sheet blood red. Jax pinged coordinates. A meet in Nashville. Music City cover for HackerCons. I veered south. Cumberland Gap's greening spring 17. Radio crooning Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. He waited at a honky-tonk. Dived deeper than Missouri's. Nursing PBR amid twang and tourists. Red, Maggie boss, he grinned. Hugging awkward. Updates tumbled. Leaks metastasizing. Indie films greenlit on Echo. Pod circuits buzzing my myth. Your folklore now. The swapped Avenger. I laughed. Sharp. Folklore dies quick. What's the play? His play. A network. Decentralized drops for whistleblowers. Blockchain secured against the machine. Voss looped in via hologram glitch, her face projected from Seattle. Lines etched deeper. We go global, she said. Voice command steel. Echoes not American alone. NATO echoes. Russian mirrors. Alliance solidified over fried Bologna. Decisions debated. Arm the net with tools. Or teeth. I pushed teeth, targeted psyops. Deep fakes of brass confessing. Timed for hearings. Controversy crested? Ethical? Hell no. Manipulation's the game. Just flipping the board. Nashville blurred into ops. Safe houses in the gulch. Code sprints till dawn. Jax's fingers flying keys while I mapped marks. First hit. General Harlan's ghost. A crony named Pierce. Echo deputy. Hold in a Boca condo. Golfing scandals away. We doxed him subtle. Leaks to his HOA. Victim photos mailed anonymous. Panic hit. He bolted. Yachts south to Cuba. But feds, our fed plants, nabbed him at sea. Extradition swift. Interrogation vids leaked courtesy Jax. Pierce cracking. Warwick knew. Babies for bites. Public devoured. Twitter torches lighting. But power pushes back. Hale resurfaced. Senator no more but lobbyist fat. Whispering to transition teams. He traced a drop, Sloppy Jack's relay and sicked contractors, black vans tailing my Civic from Memphis, drones buzzing like hornets. Evasion turned ballet, backroads through Ozarks, feints at truck stops, shoulder-wound reopening in the scramble. Voss exfiltrated Jax to Toronto, but me? Solo. Holing in a holler cabin, rain lashing tin roof. There, alone with static radio preaching fake news, the twist inverted again, call. Burner to burner. Hale's voice oily. Autumn or Eliza. Let's chat. I know the swap. Saved your ass in the silo. Pulled strings on the grays. Bargain born in betrayal. He wanted in. Not out leverage for comeback. My files his shield. Meet in St. Louis. Arch gleaming indifferent. Neutral ground, Busch Stadium lot. Empty off-season. Echoes of cheers mocking. He arrived in a town car. Suit rumpled. Eyes darting rat. You played me, he started. Cigar smoke curling. But damn. Girl, art. I leaned on the Civic. .38 heavy in pocket. Art's abstract. You framed innocence for grants. Tit for tat. His pillow codes had fed echo. Bed a battlefield. Decision forked. Bullet or bind. Controversial calculus. Kill him. Martyr made. Co-opt. Cobra in the nest. I chose snake. Join or join the ghosts.
He bit.
Spilling more. The general's final upload. Partial. Mind shard in a server farm off Alaska. Whispering orders to sleepers. He's not dead, Hale grinned. Just dormant. Rage bloomed.
Fresh.
I'd held his hand. Watched foam fleck, lie. Or half. We allied uneasy. Hale's Rolodex opening doors. My drive the key. Climax brewed in the Badlands. Summer 17 heat wave cracking earth. Target the farm. Black site igloo under permafrost. Guards Russian murk heavy. Team assembled. Voss flying in. Jack's remote jacking. Hale's assets as bait. Infill. Chopper drop at dusk. Arctic wind knifing. Me in white camo. Boots crunching ice. Breach was ballet bloody. Voss sniping Overwatch. Jack's frying doors. Me and Hale ghosting halls. The core, cryopod humming. General's face serene in frost. Tubes feeding ghost code. But the shard woke, alarm psychic. Splices shambling from vents. Eyes glowing upload blue. Chaos, mercs repelling. Voss picking M like ducks. Hale folding yellow, fuck this. Bolting for exfil. Me? Solo to the pod. Console alive with his voice. Eliza, autumn. Come home. Static love.
Paternal poison.
I keyed the worm. But hesitation hit his eyes. Margaret's echo. You made me, I whispered. Now unmake. Pull, virus raging. Pod convulsing. Frost spiderwebbing. His scream digital. Shredding speakers. Blood. Then silence. Dark as mercy. Exfil hot. Chopper blades whipping snow. Merc rounds pinging fuselage. Voss hauled me aboard. Hale absent. Coward's end. We learned later. Iced by his own for flipping. Back stateside. Leaks crested. Pentagon undead. General rises. World reeled. Alliances fracturing. NATO probes.
Me?
Faded to the heartland. Civic pointed west. Shoulder scarred but strong. Voss to her pods. Jax to code communes. Eliza'S ghost quieted. Sketches buried with the can. Revenge's aftertaste? Ash and adrenaline. Happy for the fallen. Tragic for the fallers. Debate lingers. Avenger or accelerant. America's mirror cracks wider, reflecting us all. Westward wound the wheel. I-70 bleeding into interstates that spidered like veins, pumping me toward whatever passed for home. Fall 17 painted the plains in fire, aspens torching mountains. Leaves carpeting Kansas like confetti from a funeral. Maggie faded. Autumn resurfaced.
Tentative.
Testing the fit. No more aliases. Just a P.O. box in Denver. Job at a brew pub slinging IPAs to hipsters who pontificated politics over pretzels. Echo was Illuminati beta. One theorized. Foam mustache twitching. I nodded. Wiping taps. Secrets safe in suds. Normalcy's a sly fox, nips at heels. Promises peace. But bites when you turn. Voss checked in monthly. Her pod Shadow Watch thriving, non-profit front for net digs. Funding from victim trusts. We're winning slow, she'd say. Voice warmer now. Seattle rain pattering backdrop. Jax? Toronto tech scene. Dating a barista with blue hair. Coding apps for activists. Miss your chaos. Boss. Chaos miss me too. Nights at the pub blurred to bar fights. Fists flying over fake news flares. My .38 holstered but humming. Shoulder scar ached in storms. Reminder. Violence's echo. Never silent. The general's death. Shard fried. Rippled final waves. Probes peeled onions. Congressional dogs with bones. Unearthing baby farms. Foster purges. Headlines screamed American Frankenstein. The Warwick Files. Docs redacted but damning. Kin marched DC. Placards with my face. Ghost girl. Swapped savior. Chance of justice for the lost. Controversy canonized me. Hero to hackers. Villain to vets fearing pension cuts. Fox frothed, traitor's daughter. CNN cooed, whistleblower's heir. I watched from afar. Brew foaming pint glass. Debating solo, had I toppled titans or toppled dominoes on innocence? Eliza'S betrayal softened in retrospect. Edges blunted by bourbon and miles. She'd been the spark, jealous. Yes. But forged in the same fire. Orphanage orphans against the void. The swap, desperate gambit. Her sketches prophecies of the silo storm. I'd killed her slow, reversal rage. Staged fall but in killing, reclaimed. Her note from the can, take the road. I did. Mustang manifesting finally, a 68 fastback. Cherry red from a Denver chop shop. Paid cash from Voss grants. Windows down. Wind tasting salt and sage. Springsteen cassette warbling Thunder Road. Twist's tail flicked last in winter 18. A package at the P.O. No return. Brown wrap innocuous. Inside a locket. Margaret's silver oval. Engraved M.W. 1990, chain snapped from struggle.
Note.
Typed, she fought. For you both. A friend. Voss.
No.
Her style bolder. Hale's ghost. Dead men courier poorly. Digging digital. Jax traced to an anon drop. But the sender? Echo residual. A tech who'd scrubbed my silo grays. Pity pull. Inside the locket. MicroSD. Last file. Margaret's upload fragment. Voice crackling. Harlan. Stop. The baby's mine, tell her. Love her. Tell who? Eliza. Or the potentials. Us Labletter? Floodgates cracked. I drove north. Mustang growling. To the willow snow dusting branches. Earth frozen defiance. Doug frantic. Folgers can yielding to spade. Note and locket buried tandem. Love her, echoed. Her me? Us. Betrayal's core. The general hadn't just stolen minds, he'd stolen motherhood, splicing sins into daughter's DNA. I'd borne it all. Crime of complicity.
Frame for Reyes.
Swaps and silences, for a legacy laced with loss. Climax's coda played in spring thaw.
DC.
Calling unwitting. Boss summoned. Final push hearings. Your word seals it. I went. Incognito, in the gallery. Suit stiff as lies. Brass testified. Faces familiar. Pierce's successor. Sweating under lights. Project terminated 16 malfunction. Malfunction, my worm. Then Voss. Subpoenaed star. Not malfunction. Massacre. Leaks laid bare. My drive the dagger. Gavel fell. Indictments. Echo eviscerated. Budgets butchered. But the hook reversed final. Post-hearing. A face in the crowd. Nuns from the orphanage. Gray now, but eyes sharp. Sister Agnes. The tough one who'd swatted us fair. Approached hesitant. Autumn haze? Or? Recognition hit mutual. Tears pricking. We knew, she whispered. The search is sealed, but whispers. Protected you girls best we could.
Protected?
Or procured. No malice in her shake. Just regrets wait. Turns out, orphanage admin had fielded suits, war grants, donations for silence. Complicity cascade. Nuns as cogs. Kids as capital. I walked out changed. Capitol dome mocking. Cherry blossoms shedding like confessions. No arrest, ghost still, but the debate internalized. Avenger absolved. Or architect accountable. Happy? For the lost. Voices heard. Tragic? For the bearers. Scars eternal. Ending open. Readers argue it. Justice jagged. Or just another swap. Mustang waited. Engine purring promise. I gunned it west. Road unspooling infinite. Cornfields whispering welcome. Sisters against the storm, eternal. Even in echoes. America's rhythm pulsed, tense. Dark. Dramatic as a dust devil dance. I was home. Finally in the motion. The maybe. And if ghosts ride shotgun? Well, that's the thrill. Thunder Road calls, born to run. Baby. Forever.